Hello and welcome. Today, author R.T. Cagle shares another inspiring story from the Bedtime Stories with Heart and Soul series, written to help you slow down, reflect, and end the day with a little more peace. Now, here's the author.
Hello, my name is author R.T. Cagles. Today's story is called Hercules of the Sea. So let's get started. Far beyond the bustling shores and the sun-kissed coastlines lies a world untouched by human hands, where the deepest blues stretch into an endless horizon and life moves to the rhythms of the sea. This world is home to creatures as old as time, and among them are the most majestic of all, the gentle giants, whales, known to many as the Hercules of the Sea. Chapter 1. The Arrival of the Giants. It was early dawn, and the sun had just begun to peek over the horizon, casting an ethereal light across the ocean. The water shimmered like liquid gold, and the breeze carried the scent of salt and freedom. Deep beneath the surface, the gentle giants moved in graceful silence, their enormous bodies cutting through the water with an elegance that belied their size. There were 4 of them traveling together, a pod of blue whales, the largest creatures to ever inhabit the earth. Their leader was a matriarch named Thalassa, a wise and ancient whale who had led her family through the oceans for more than a century. At over 90 feet long, Thalassa was a true Hercules of the sea, her body a testament to the power and grace of these magnificent beings. Around her swam her 2 sons, Orion and Atlas, each more than 70 feet in length. Though still young by whale standards, they were growing into their full strength and size, their sleek bodies gliding effortlessly through the deep. The youngest member of the pod was a newborn calf, only a few weeks old. His name was Zephyr, and though small now, he was destined to become one of the great whales of the ocean, a giant in his own right. For weeks, the pod had been migrating south, following the ancient paths their ancestors had swum for millennia. The journey was long, spanning thousands of miles, but Thalassa knew the way well. The ocean had been her home for over 100 years, and every current, every ripple in the water was as familiar to her as the stars in the night sky. As they traveled, the whales communicated in low melodic calls that reverberated through the water. Their songs told stories of distant lands, of great hunts and narrow escapes, of love and loss. The ocean was their world, and their songs were its history. Chapter 2. The Strength of the Sea. The ocean was not always a peaceful place. Though the gentle giants ruled these waters, they were not without their challenges. Predators, both natural and man-made, posed a constant threat, and the sea itself could be as unpredictable as it was beautiful. As the pod swam further south, the water began to grow colder, and the ocean's surface became more turbulent. Storms were brewing, and Thalassa could feel the change in the currents. Her instincts told her that danger was near, but there was little she could do except continue onward. The whales were far from any coastline, and they had no choice but to face whatever the sea threw at them. The first signs of the storm appeared in the form of dark clouds gathering on the horizon. Soon the wind picked up, and the waves grew larger, crashing against the whales with increasing force. Thalassa kept her pod close, her deep, resonant calls guiding them through the rising chaos. The storm hit with a fury that only the ocean could summon. Rain poured down in torrents, and the wind howled like a wild beast. The waves towered over the whales, threatening to swallow them whole, but Thalassa was undeterred. She had survived storms like this before, and she knew that the key to survival was to stay calm and conserve energy. For hours, the pod fought against the storm, their massive bodies rising and falling with the waves. It was a test of endurance, a battle between the gentle giants and the raw power of the sea. And though the storm raged with all its might, the whales were relentless. Their strength, both physical and mental, was unmatched. They were the Hercules of the sea, and no storm could defeat them. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the storm began to subside. The wind died down, the rain lessened, and the waves grew smaller. Thalassa led her pod to calmer waters, her heart swelling with pride. They had survived the storm, and in doing so, they had proven once again that they were true masters of the ocean. Chapter 3. Encounters with Humans. The ocean, though vast and seemingly infinite, was no longer the untouched sanctuary it once had been. Humans had long since found their way to the sea, and with them came both wonder and danger. While some humans marveled at the beauty of the gentle giants, others sought to exploit their strength and majesty for profit. As the pod continued their migration, they began to notice the telltale signs of human presence: the distant hum of engines, the sharp smell of oil, and the ghostly shapes of fishing nets drifting through the water. Thalassa was wary. She had lived long enough to know that humans could be as unpredictable as the sea itself. One morning, as the pod swam near the surface, a large vessel appeared on the horizon. It was a whaling ship, its crew on the lookout for the very creatures they sought to hunt. Thalassa immediately sensed the danger. She had lost family members to whalers in the past, and she knew that they would stop at nothing to capture one of the great whales. With a single call, Thalassa alerted her pod. The whales dove deep, their massive bodies disappearing into the depths. But the whalers were persistent. They had technology that could track the whales even below the surface, and soon the chase was on. For hours, the pod swam as fast as they could, their enormous tails propelling them through the water with incredible speed. The whalers followed, their harpoons ready to strike. It was a race for survival, and the outcome was uncertain. Just as the situation seemed hopeless, something miraculous happened. A second vessel appeared on the horizon, but this one was different. It was a research ship, its crew made up of scientists dedicated to protecting the gentle giants. They had been tracking the pod for weeks, not to harm them, but to study and understand them. The researchers quickly radioed the whaling ship, warning them to back off. In most parts of the world, hunting blue whales was illegal, and the researchers had the authority to enforce these laws. Reluctantly, the whalers turned away, their pursuit thwarted. The pod was safe, at least for now. Chapter 4. The Legacy of the Giants. The encounter with the humans had shaken the pod, but it had also reminded them of their resilience. For centuries, the gentle giants had roamed the oceans, surviving storms, predators, and even human threats. They were not only the Hercules of the sea in strength, but in spirit. As they continued their journey, the whales came upon a part of the ocean where the water was clear and calm. Here, they could rest and feed, replenishing their energy after the long migration. Thalassa led them to a deep underwater canyon, a place she had visited many times over the years. It was a sanctuary, a place where the giants could be at peace. As they swam through the canyon, Thalassa began to sing. Her song was deep and resonant, a melody that echoed through the water and carried for miles. One by one, the other whales joined in, their voices blending into a harmonious chorus. It was a song of gratitude, of survival, and of hope for the future. Zephyr, the youngest whale, swam beside his mother, his small voice adding to the chorus. He was still learning the ways of the ocean, but he knew that one day he would take his place as a leader of the pod, just as Thalassa had done before him. He would carry on the legacy of the gentle giants, ensuring that their songs would continue to echo through the oceans for generations to come. Chapter 5. The Future of the Gentle Giants. The ocean was ever-changing, and the challenges the whales faced were far from over. Climate change, pollution, and overfishing threatened their home, and the presence of humans in the ocean was growing every day. But the gentle giants were resilient. They had survived for millions of years, and they would continue to fight for their place in the world. Thalassa, now old and wise, knew that her time was nearing its end, but she was not afraid. She had lived a long and full life, and she had raised a strong and capable pod. Orion, Atlas, and Zephyr would carry on her legacy, leading the gentle giants through the challenges ahead. Although the world around them was changing, the gentle giants remained a symbol of hope. A reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is strength in unity, and there is beauty in resilience. And so, as the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the ocean, the pod swam together, their massive bodies moving in perfect harmony. They were the Hercules of the sea, the gentle giants who ruled the ocean with strength, grace, and wisdom. Thank you for joining me.
Hello again. As we come to a close, remember to like, subscribe, and follow us so you don't miss a single adventure. Thank you for spending this heartfelt moment with us. Until next time, we hope this story brought you a little peace as the day comes to a close.